It was necessary to put Betty in a nursing home. It was a devastating day in my life as well as the life of our children when that happened. I really felt like we had gotten to the point where I was stretched as far as I could go. I was ready to snap. It was very difficult at home. I would work all day. I had Betty in an adult daycare center so that I could work at least 6 hours a day away from the house. Then I would bring work home. Finally, the day came one night when she wouldn't take her medicine. I asked Joy, our youngest daughter, if she would give it to her, and Joy came down to give it to her, and she smacked Joy and threw the glass of water on her. And Joy came running up the stairs, just crushed, brokenhearted. And she said, "Dad, I think it's time for her to go to the nursing home." And so I went downstairs and I said, "Honey, this medicine is for you. It's to help you. We love you and want to care for you." And just out of the blue, she went wham. And she just smacked me upside the head, jerked my head around, and just spontaneously, I just pushed her on the bed. And she just kind of curled up in a little ball and started to whimper. And I saw that. It broke my heart, because I realized I was capable of hurting her. And never in a million years, I had never hit her. In our married life, we will have been married 38 years in August, and I never hit her. Never even had the desire to hit her. But in that flash of a second, I was ready to do some real damage to her. And I just pushed her on that bed, and then I realized, God, I've gone to the breaking point. And I felt like the kids didn't understand.
We understood that he couldn't go any longer, but we felt like the choice for us to be involved in maybe us going a little longer was no longer there for us either, because the decision was made and it was going to happen, and we weren't in a position to do anything differently.
I had tried to communicate to you guys that I was getting at the edge of my rope, but you all have busy lifestyles, and there just wasn't time.
The idea was brought up of Mom going into a nursing home, and we talked about it, we went round about it as to, is it the right time, is it the wrong time, is it something that will happen eventually? And the feeling was, I thought, coming out of the room, that it is something that's going to have to happen, but we weren't necessarily in agreement that now was the time. Well, I found out a day or so later that the plans were already in place, or the original calls were already made for her to be placed into a nursing home that following week. And that was a little, it was a bit of a jolt.
It's been really frustrating sometimes, and it's actually probably been the hardest part of the whole thing for me, is just that great frustration from what sometimes seems like a lack of communication and or just miscommunication.
If there was a scale, if everybody in the world was lined up in the order of the intentions they have and whether they're good or bad, Dad would be at the top of the good. I mean, he has the best of intentions and wants to do the right thing all the time. And I think that this is, again, just my impressions, that if Ev and Lisa had stepped in and Mom had come to live with them and you had come to live with them, I think, Dad, you might have seen that as failure. And you might have seen that as you were not doing a good enough job, and I can't let somebody else do a better job than I could do, and so I can't let that happen. And obviously you do love Mom, and I think, just like I said, it's the help they wanted to give wasn't the help you thought was a solution. And as the father and as the husband, you felt like you had the authority to make that decision, and you did.
There's no question in my mind that we all love each other very much, and we are a family, and we are not going to be broken up over this. Having said that, there have been a lot of hurt feelings at times. There's been great mounds of frustration at times, but there have also been happy times and fun times and good times, so.
There's been a lot that's gone on along with the illness. I got married, I had kids, Ev and Lisa had kids, Dad continues to have his full-time job. Life goes on, and so for a family to go from us 5 kids, the 2 who aren't here, and then to get older and go to college, that's a change. And then to get married is another change. And then to have kids, grandkids of mom and dad is yet another change. And in the mix of all that, to have a conviction to make sure mom and dad are taken care of, it's just hard. And each person has to set up their own criteria, their own boundaries for what are they committed to. And add into that the opinions of spouses and what they have in mind for how that's going to be. And just like Lisa said, it's just a matter of what it has come down to in a lot of times is saying, well, this is the way I'm comfortable with it being, and this is what I think I can do. And hopefully that's okay. And if it's not, there's not much else I can do about it. But this is the way that I need to live my life.